Hey guys, so today we're going to be doing a 10 by 10. For this workout circuit, I'm going to be showing you guys the 10 exercises that you will have to do at your own pace, okay? So I'm not technically doing a workout with you, but I'm here to explain not only the exercises, but also the modifications for each one that you are assigned to do. Make sure that you watch through the entire video, because at the end, I'll have a recap for the exercises written out in plain English for you so you know which exercises to do in that sequence. So without further ado, let's go over today's 10 by 10. I have the list right here that I will also recap in the end, and let's start off with the first one. So the first one is going to be a sit-up punch. So I would recommend, if you have a couch or a ledge or somebody in your vicinity that can hold your legs down, kind of nudge the tips of your toes and wedge them underneath there. Be safe, be careful, or have somebody hold your feet, or maybe put something a little bit heavier on your toes to make sure that you don't get too off balance. But we're gonna go all the way down. I like to cross my hands over my breastplate. We're down, and then we're up, and then we're gonna hit it with 2 punches. So it's gonna be right, left, left, right, whichever one's your favorite combination, and we're back down. And we're gonna do 2 of those. 3, 4. If that ever gets too difficult for you, you guys can always just go into either a standard sit-up, which looks like this, or a standard crunch where you're supporting the neck and you're just coming up and down with just the shoulder blades releasing from the ground. Our next exercise are going to be leg raises. So we're going to be on the ground. We're going to have our hands protecting our tailbone behind us as we lay down. And with both feet together, we're going to go ahead and raise the legs up, lower them. You can either tap your heel to the ground or have them hover and then bring them back up. And do that for 10 repetitions. If that ever gets difficult for you, you can always do a scissor leg raise. Basically, you can have one leg come up at a time. If having both coming down at the same time gets too difficult for you. Our next exercise is going to be a Russian twist. So we're on the ground, we're leaning backwards, our feet are planted firmly on the ground, we're leaning back. You can either put the hands together or the elbows pinned towards the torso. Excuse me, sir. And then we're just gonna turn to each side. That's 1. Whenever you do both sides, I consider that to be 1. So 1, 2, 3. If that ever gets too difficult for you, you can always just hold this position right here, holding on to the knees. And whenever you feel safe, you can go ahead, try to do one side at a time, and just go very slow with it, okay? Our next exercise is going to be a plank side step. So we're going to be on the ground. Excuse me, Garbanzo. Going to start off in a plank position. So with both hands on the ground, go into a plank. You're going to have both feet together, and I want you to step the left foot out, bring it back in, the right foot out, bring it back in. That's going to be 1, 2, 3. If that ever gets difficult for you, you can always just hold your standard plank. Next, we're going to do a walkout plank. So starting in a standing position, we're going to bend the knees, bend at the hip, reach for the ground, and then walk out into a standard plank. So I'm bending at the hip, going towards the ground, walking into our standard plank, bending at the hip again, and then coming all the way back up, squeezing the glutes at the top, bringing it back down. That's 2. Whenever you're walking out, make sure that you're not stabbing the ground with the bottom of your palm. You want the weight to be distributed quite evenly along the hands so that you don't risk injuring your wrists. A really good modification is to bend the knees first, and while you're in this low position, then you can start to crawl out into your plank, bend the knees, bring it back into this ball, and then stand up and squeeze the glutes. Next exercise is going to be front and back heel touches. So the movement has 2 parts. If doing both of those parts get confusing, just stick to the one that feels most comfortable for you, the one that is more doable for you in whatever conditioning that you are in. So you're going to bring both ankles to the front and then swing both ankles to the back, crossing over our opposite hand with the opposite foot when you're both So in full speed, it looks like this. If that ever gets confusing, you can always stick to going to the front only or sticking to the back only. You can also have the modification to be just like that, where you're just lifting slowly, because to do that full speed looks like this. You're kind of hopping from side to side when you're doing them back. Same thing, you're hopping from side to side. It's almost like a butt kick, but you're crossing the foot to the opposite butt cheek. Front, back, that's one. So 1, 2, 3. Make sure you're also not just swinging your leg up. You don't want to dislocate a hip. Always be safe while doing any of these exercises, and do not attempt anything that you think might injure yourself. After that, we're going to do a jump rope hop. So I like to do doubles as one. So hop, hop, 2 hops is 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm swinging my arms as if I have a jump rope with my elbows being tucked towards my waist. If that ever gets hard, you can always go into a butt kick instead of hopping, or you can always go into a front high knee. Up next is a crisscross jack. A crisscross jack, your starting position is with the hands crisscrossed at the top, right? So we're starting here and we're out. Feel free to bring your favorite foot across the front as you crisscross, or just bring the feet together. I think I instinctually bring my right foot across the top, so it looks like this. And I'm crossing at the top. From the side it looks like this, so you're going to have plenty of space in front of each foot. If the crisscross jacks ever get too taxing, you can always just step it out and keep those arms moving above your head. After that, it's a toe touch reverse lunge. So we're going to go down into a lunge and touch the ground with the opposite hand, with the opposite foot. So, like so. Just touching the ground, squeezing the glutes on the way up. Each side counts as 1, so it's 1, 2, 3. If that ever gets difficult, you can always just go into a standard lunge. A tip for lunges: if you find yourself to be unstable or unsteady when you're in that kneeling position, try widening your stance. A lot of us go into a lunge and we're like on a tightrope, where our back foot is directly aligned with our front foot, and so that causes instability. Instead of bringing it directly behind your front foot, bring it out more towards the side, and you will find that you have much more stability doing so. So give that a try if you find it difficult to keep your balance for a lunge. Finally, we're going to do a 180 jump. You're going to start off at your favorite side. You're going to go ahead and squat down. When we squat, we're going to have our heels planted firmly to the ground. Our overall foot is flat, but we're going to make sure that we're applying all of our weight more towards our posterior chain, more towards our back, more towards our heel. All right, so we're down, and then we jump up, and we're going to land on the balls of our feet, ending on our heels before we go back down into our squat again on the 180 side. So did a full 180. It looks like this. And so every time you go back to your original side, that was 1, 2, 3. Doing a full 180 squat is a little bit difficult. You can always break it down into a 45 degree. So you're down and just kind of cut that distance. You can also just go into a normal squat and just step quickly to the other side. And when you do both sides, that's 1 rep. That is the 10 by 10 today. So do 10 repetitions of each of those exercises. I like to do this circuit around 2 times. If you have that extra wind, go for 3. I challenge you to go for 3 whole rounds of that workout circuit and see how you feel. If you just can do 2, do not push yourself. If you do not have the means to go there, it's okay. Stick to your own pace. Make sure you're staying hydrated. Make sure that you're taking breaks when you need it while completing this workout circuit. Let me know how you guys are doing down in the comments. How are we feeling? What's your favorite part about the challenge so far? And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. See you guys in the next workout.